Welcome to the podcast editing and support show. My name is Dave. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go. We're going to start the episode right now. Happy to have you here. Let's do this. And welcome back to the podcast editing and support show. I'm Dave. I'm doing well. We're all about creating a podcast business around our passion for podcasting. I know you're a passionate person. I can tell. I can see it. It's all over your face. You're passionate. You love podcasting and you love helping podcasters. That's why you're here for the podcast editing and support show. You're like, Dave, my hand is raised. How do I take this love of podcasting and turn it into a business where I can pay my bills because, I got several. I can take care of my family. I can love what I do and be a huge source of support and give all my best to the podcasting community. How do I go from being a hobbyist, a podcaster that edits their own podcast, to being a support for the podcasting super world? Super world? Yeah. How do I do that? And it comes down to us understanding how to start our business, how to build it the right way, is around editing for entrepreneurs versus editing for indie creators, and how we tailor our services to meet the needs of who's in front of us. Are we looking to work with entrepreneurs? Are we looking to work with indies? Let's talk about it here on the Podcast Editing and Support Show. As we set up our business as podcast editors and support people, we need to set up our brand identity around our clients' personas as podcast editors. We need to know our clients inside and out. And like we talked about in the last episode, we talked about the music and how you're like, oh my gosh, I can't listen to that song right now. Skip. We need to know who we work with and who we work for and who we do not work with and do not work for. We need to define our client's persona. Who are they? There's so many different things that come into play with this. And we can kind of group podcasters into little buckets, little file folders. We can kind of neatly arrange them on our desk. So here's some to think about. We have the busy entrepreneurs, time-strapped. They're founders, they're movers and shakers. They need turnkey editing for thought leadership content. They're just looking for someone to do it all. I'm busy building the world. I just need you to take care of these 5 things, and that's it. I don't even want to know about it. Just take care of it. Busy entrepreneurs, first bucket. Second bucket, indie creators. Like me, solo podcasters who are looking to prioritize authenticity over polish, often on tight budgets. They're not looking for perfection. They're looking for support. So the reason why this podcast is called Podcast Editing and Support is because sometimes people are going to need you for editing, and sometimes they're going to need you for support, and sometimes they're going to need you for both. And to say that you're only one of, you could be many things to many people. You want to make sure that you serve them well, though. So you can have the busy entrepreneur. You can have the indie creator, again, solo podcaster. They're just looking for people who are authentic with them. They're not really worried too much about it being perfect. Just give me the best price, right? Because I have to take money away from something else. I can't go on a date with my wife because I got to pay you to edit my podcast. So they're looking for a good, tight budget. The next one would be a corporate team. This is a marketing department that requires branded sound design and everything having to meet certain checks and balances. This is money set aside by a company, usually earmarked for a sign on a bus bench on the side of the road or the back end of a bus driving down the street. They're going to take that money and give it to you, and you're going to become part of their marketing team as a podcast editor and support person. So it's earmarked money. And when money comes to you, there's accountability for that. They're not just going to give you a check and go, thanks, see you later. They're going to look for you to be part of their team. That's a big commitment. Think about it. Then the other part of this around our client's persona, we have busy entrepreneurs looking for help, indie creators looking for help, corporate teams and businesses looking for help. We also have coaches and experts. These are professionals who monetize their podcast, and they need audience-centric edits, support, information, guidance, and opportunities. Maybe even helping them get on shows as a guest. These are all things that could fall into your plate as you define your client's persona. There's another part to all this. As you define your client's persona, the next part is tailoring your brand to support the persona that you've chosen. Once you know who you're talking to, now you know how to talk to them. After you defined your client's persona, it's now time to tailor your brand to them. So your messaging, for example, your messaging to an entrepreneur is to get studio quality edits done in 48 hours so that you can focus on scaling and growing your business. That's what an entrepreneur needs to hear from you. That message is not going to translate well to indies. And the indie messaging is not going to translate to entrepreneurs. For indies, compared to entrepreneurs, we might have messaging that says, your voice perfected. Budget-friendly edits that keep it all real. That seems to resonate better with somebody who's an indie because you're talking about budgets. When you're talking about entrepreneurs, it's not about budgets, it's about results. Your messaging has to fit with the persona that you serve. Now, if you serve multiple different personas, make sure that your messaging then supports who you're talking to. Make sure that you're not talking budgets to a large creator with a large marketing thing. You're going to be talking more about hitting their KPIs, hitting all their targets, being that support, giving them all the data they need to support the next purchase of your service. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes here. And when you think about tailoring your brand's persona, it also comes down to visual identity. So you can, when you work with a corporate client, you're going to want to use clean, professional designs, playful, quirky branding, more for indie creators, less for a professional environment. Consistency needs to be across the board in all platforms, in all the different personas that you service, so that you're getting things done the right way. There's some service packaging that you can do as a podcast editor and support person. You can offer different done-for-you tiers for entrepreneurs versus more of a buffet option or an a la carte editing options for your hobbyists, where they can pick and choose the things that they need and the things that they can handle, and you're there to fill in the gaps for them. You're tailoring, you have to tailor your brand and how you message and how you show up and how you display what you do to service the people who you're talking to. So if you don't know who you're talking to, the messaging is not going to fall into place because you don't know who you're talking to. So make sure you know who your audience is. The third part around this is to have content that attracts your ideal client, your ideal persona. Again, just like messaging, if you don't know who you're talking to, it's going to be very hard for you to create content that's going to capture the attention of your ideal persona and client. But once you know who you're talking to, you can use things like blogs and social hooks. So an entrepreneur is going to love something where you write a blog or an article or something about 3 editing hacks every time strapped podcaster needs. That speaks to entrepreneurs. A messaging or a blog or social hook for an indie creator would be something like how to sound pro without breaking the bank. Do you see, like you're just like when you got in the car, we talked about in the last episode, a song comes on and you're like, nope. And you hit that button to skip it. For me, again, it was Beyonce, sorry. That's my button. I'm like, nope, no, I got it. Everything to the left, everything to the left. No. I don't want to hear that song. Skip, right? Done. You got to know that your messaging is going to attract some, repel others. And you want that. You want to know because you want to know who you serve and who you don't serve. Some lead magnets for like a corporate team could be something like audio quality checklist. Cool. Or for a new creator, budget-friendly editing guides. These are things that could bring people to you, and you're talking in the tone and the language of your ideal persona. That's the way you need to do. You need to adjust your approach. If you look at any marketing in any company, they're always trying to put what they want to say into the terminology and the speak of their audience so that it resonates. And if you don't talk the talk, people will not understand your messaging, and you will be alienating people from what your services are. The key takeaway here is your brand identity should mirror your ideal client's aspirations. What are their goals? What do they want? Use these personas to guide your visuals, to guide your messaging, and to service how you design what you do. And then watch your client transform over time. You may start off working with indies and work more into entrepreneurs. Could happen naturally. You could start with entrepreneurs and start working with corporate. There's different elements and different ways that you can move around within your business. Be open to that. And know your audience. Know your client's persona. Understand them. Understand why they need help, what they need help with, and how you can be the answer to their search. And then be found through your website. Again, you need a website. Through your website, you need to have this messaging nice and clear and concise and evident right there at the beginning of when they come to your site. You want them to go, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the person that I need to hire without a doubt, because the brand messaging speaks to them. They're coming to you with the problem. They're coming to you with an issue, and you need to be the result. You need to be the answer. So be found and make sure you know that you're talking to the right audience, the right way that resonates and brings people to you and repels the people that you do not want to work with away from you. There's nothing wrong with repelling the wrong people. It'll save you time. You'll be more productive, and you get to invest your time in the people that will honor your work, love what you do, and support you financially, and build a relationship over a long period of time. Show up for the people who show up for you. And don't worry about the tire kickers who look at your prices and go, oh my gosh, that's not your client. Make sure you focus on the right persons, the right personalities, and the right personas, because that's who you need to build your business on. The right people, because you're the right person for them. If all of this sounds foreign, if you're like, sure, Dave, you just create an episode, put all this stuff out, now I'm supposed to do all this. If you're not sure and you have some questions, make sure you go to the website in the show notes. I'd love to talk to you anytime about any of this stuff. And even if you just want to lament and you're just like, oh, it's so hard to do all these things, then I'm in the same boat as you are. I'm at the exact same spot. Thanks for listening to the Podcast Editing and Support Show. Visit us at podcasteditingandsupport.com, podcasteditingandsupport.com. We would love to help you find a great podcast editor, or if you want to hire us, we would love to work with you. Podcasteditingandsupport.com. Catch you on the next episode. Take care.